Today on the pod, my guest is Jaron Filliater from Wynford High School. Jaron talks about being a multi-sport athlete going into his senior year, being a ball boy for the Royals growing up, and how he wants his teammates to remember him. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Bases Loaded podcast. I'm your host, Gabe Kennedy, and today my guest is Jaron Filliater. Jaron, how's it going, buddy?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So how old are you and what are you involved with there at Wynford High School?
I am 17. I'll be a senior, and I'm on the basketball team and football team, and then I'm also a class officer.
Good deal. So obviously everybody's getting ready to go back to school or already back in school. You guys start tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's your first day. Are we excited? I mean, this is it for you. Are you excited, nervous? You know where you're going, right? For your classes?
Yeah. I'm excited, but I mean that'll change after tomorrow. When I get home from school, I won't want to go the next day. So, but I am excited for tomorrow. But I feel like that's how it always is. You get excited for the first day, then after that, it's school.
So let me ask you this: do you know who pretty much is all in your classes that you have? Do you already know your friends?
Yeah. I don't. I mean, I'll figure out tomorrow from like most of them, but I know I have a few friends in a couple classes, and like there's one class that all the seniors have to take at Wynford, so I know I'll be with a bunch of my classmates. So
Good deal. Getting back into the routine of school. So, being a multi-sport athlete, how busy has your summer been?
pretty busy. Lot busier compared to last summer when obviously COVID was a lot like bigger of a deal then. And last summer we couldn't really go for any team camps for basketball or anything like that. And like in the beginning of the summer, and we couldn't really practice together for basketball either. And then like when football like came around like July and August, we had no 7-on-7s last year, and I'm pretty sure we had one scrimmage, and then just one scrimmage and no 7-on-7s in games. So it's been different this year. Obviously, we've had I think 3 or 4 7-on-7s, and we had 2 scrimmages. So and we went to 1 or 2 team camps for basketball too.
So, did you feel like you noticed that last football season that maybe not just you guys, but teams you're playing just kind of weren't in sync yet as far as just knowing the plays and the pace of the game and all that stuff because of the lost time?
Yeah, you could definitely tell a difference. I mean, 7-on-7s definitely help a lot with alignment for like the skill players, the running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers. But then obviously the scrimmages help a lot too with where you're actually playing in a game. And yeah, you could definitely notice it last year at the
So,
start of the season.
so some people think 7-on-7s are a little bit overrated because sometimes it depends what's going on. They rush the quarterback or they drop 8 and it's not realistic. What's your thoughts? Are you still getting something out of the 7-7s as far as competing wise?
I would say scrimmages are definitely more helpful, but 7-on-7 still obviously help with running routes and actually playing against or having some competition against someone that's not on your team. But I would definitely say that they're maybe a little bit overhyped, and scrimmages are definitely regular scrimmages 11-on-11 are definitely superior than 7-on-7s.
Absolutely. I agree with you there. So for you, how have sports impacted you as a kid growing up?
I've always been into sports since as long as I can remember. I mean, I've been going to football games at Wynford for as long as I can remember, and basketball games the same way. I never really got into the NBA or NFL really when I was young. It was more like Wynford, like high school sports. Like I remember, I have like vivid memories of like players and games at Wynford, and like I always thought the pride stickers that we got on our helmets. I always thought those were the coolest thing ever, and like how you got more of them each week after each win. I always thought that was cool.
So you were a ball boy, correct?
Yeah. I was a ball boy my 7th and 8th grade years.
So is that something where obviously you're seventh and eighth grade, you hear some language, and so you kind of see the way that the high school kids act a little bit different than you do in middle school.
Oh
Was
yeah.
that something that you were kind of like, holy smokes, this is intimidating, or you're like, wow, I cannot wait to be a part of this someday?
Um, I would definitely say I was more like excited for it. I never really got too intimidated by any of the players or coaches. I always thought all the players were always like nice to us. We always got I remember we always got to ride the bus with the players to the games. On most of the time we did. There were some games we didn't, but I remember most of the time we rode the bus. And then the coaches, I remember we would always throw with the coaches, like when the players, were in the locker room getting ready. And yeah, I have good memories from being a ball boy in 7th and 8th grade.
So Coach Halbert, obviously, the head football coach there at Wynford, something happened, right? When you were a ball boy, something happened to one of the other kids that got Coach Halbert fired up a little bit, right?
Yeah, we were playing. It was my 8th grade year, and we were playing at Lima Central Catholic. And that game was like late in the season. I think it was like our 8th game of the season, 7th or 8th game of the season, and we were at Lima Central, and it was like raining, it was cold, and it was just bad conditions. And I remember, like obviously when it's raining and cold out, ball boys are pretty busy keeping the balls dry and like getting the new ball in every play and everything. And one of my friends who was also a ball boy at the time Coach Helber got pretty mad at him one play because he didn't have I forget if it was he didn't have a new ball or if Coach Helbert needed the towel to like wipe off his hands or something, and he kind of laid into him for a little bit. And that is I can't say that's the only time I was ever really intimidated as a ball boy was Coach Helbert getting mad at one of my friends being a ball boy for not having a towel on a rainy game.
So have you and Coach Halbert ever talked about this, or is this something where you always think, man, one of these days?
No, I don't think I ever have. I don't think I ever have asked him about it or brought it up to him. This is probably the first. I'm assuming he'll listen to this. This is probably the first time he'll ever hear of it. So he probably doesn't remember, but I remember it pretty well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Who are some people that have helped you get to this point, not only in sports but in life?
Definitely Coach Halbert is one of the big ones. I mean, he's been my coach since. I mean, he didn't coach the 7th and 8th grade teams, but we would always be at lifting. I remember I've probably been going to lifting for 6 years since I was going to be a 7th grader. And I mean, he never treated us the same, or he never treated us different because we were, younger kids. He was on us as much as the older guys. And yeah, Coach Hubbard is definitely, and he's still that way. He's constantly on us, no matter how good of our practices are. There's always, or how good we play. There's always, things that we can get better on. And another coach that he only coached for about 3 years. He was one of my AU coaches, Coach Lash. He's the same way. He was always on us, and I would say I'm a pretty decent rebounder. I think I average like 10 rebounds a game this year, and I would credit a lot of that to him because he was crazy about boxing out, and obviously I'm not amazing at it, but how I would credit a lot to him, and he was always honest about other things too. And obviously Coach Moore, who's my basketball coach for 3 years, obviously he saw something in me starting me as a sophomore, and I would say a lot of my confidence in basketball has come from him because he saw something in me, and I took that to heart. And Coach Smith is the same way. I mean, he was always right there with Coach Moore too, and now he has the opportunity, or I have the opportunity to get coached by him this year in basketball too. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about that. You have a coaching change for basketball, but it's not going to be that much different, right? Because it's going to be a coach that kind of got promoted from within, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be. I think it will be. You wouldn't think that it'd be a lot different, but I think it will be. A lot different. Obviously, Coach Moore and Coach Smith aren't separated that long by age, but they are very different coaches, I think, at least, and I think that's a good thing. And Coach Moore is a great coach, and I think Coach Smith will be a great coach too. So I'm excited.
Yeah, there's definitely a culture there at Wynford with the football kids, man. Like you said, you're starting, going to the 7th grade, lifting and seeing these older kids. That's just a tradition that goes down. Is there some secret potion there at Wynford that you guys just have tough kids that want to work hard?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of that, and we have amazing coaches who get honest about that stuff, and like if we don't come one day, like why weren't you here, or like what were you like, what's your excuse or whatever. And but I would also say it's obviously a lot of the players too. Like I remember being 7th graders, I remember Zach Hoffman would always pick me up, and Seth Hoffman, and they lived right down the road from me, and Seth lived like probably like half a mile down the road from me. Zach lives like probably a mile and a half from me. And I remember, they're like these seniors and I'm like an 8th grader or 7th grader, and they don't have to come get me. But I mean, I remember they'd always give me rides, and I think that shows a lot of how much not only the coaches but also the players care. I mean, senior come and pick up a 7th grader. I mean, they never had, no one ever asked them to do that, and just stuff like that really shows you how much people care or kids care at Wynford about football.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Once you get there, you're like, holy cow, man! I got something to prove, man. These guys came and picked me up. I got to kind of show out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Good deal. So going into your senior season, back to football here, what are some things you've been working to improve on since last year?
I'm always trying to improve on everything, just trying to get stronger, faster, and the weight room obviously helps a lot with that. And after basketball season, being in the weight room for lifting and all that stuff after school, we go 4 days a week. So just, nothing in particular, just trying to become a better athlete, mostly just stronger, faster, stuff like that.
So what are realistic goals, for you guys this year as a team for football?
We're definitely championship caliber. I mean, a league title is definitely, in the back of my head. We're not there, we're not quite yet to league play. We still have 2 more games before that, but I mean, it's definitely sitting there in the back of my mind. And obviously a deep playoff run, I think they expanded the playoffs this year, right, to 16 teams. Yep. And so, that's always in the back of my mind too, but that's far away still. So, but yeah, definitely conference championship. I think we're capable. We just have to, work hard, obviously, and can't get big heads about it, and got to always take each week, or got to take it week by week. So
yeah, I feel like you guys definitely are the team on the schedule that everybody's circling that they want. You're going to see everybody's best week to week. So which teammates would you say haven't really gotten the hype that they deserve?
There's a lot of them. One that pops into my mind is Kobe Knopfsinger. He was I don't think he played last year, but he'll be a junior this year, and he starts on offense now, and he was in the weight room for like every single day I was there, which was almost every day he was there, and he works hard, and he doesn't mess around ever. He's always attentive and always works hard, and so yeah, I'm really proud of him, and I'm excited to see what else he'll do and this year, and obviously next year too. I mean, I won't be here next year, but I'll still, watch or keep touching. So I'm excited for him. I'm also excited for some of my other teammates in my class that, always haven't gotten the opportunity to play varsity football. Like a couple come to my mind, like Micah Karcher and Daniel Carrick. They haven't. I love them both, and I love them both a lot, but, they haven't had the opportunity to play varsity football this year or before, and this year they're getting that opportunity. So I'm excited for them a lot.
Good deal. So for you personally, do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
I'm not the most superstitious person, but I always do. I get both my ankles taped always because, I had an ankle problem last year where I missed a couple games, and I always seem like my ankles always bother me. So I always just get them taped. I always listen to music. I'm not the most superstitious guy. I don't really have, obviously I'm not messing around before games or anything like that. But, I'm focused, but nothing really out of the ordinary, I guess you could say, that I do before games or anything.
So a senior in high school in 2021, listen to music before a football game. What are you listening to before football games?
I would say my music preference changes, like depending, like obviously I'm not going to listen to, the same music when I'm like laying in bed or like doing homework that I'm about to listen to before a football game. Like I really like Metallica, 90s rock before football games is what I usually listen to.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So how would you want your teammates to describe you? If I use this example with you in the pre-pod. I go sit down at Baker's with my family in about 5 years, and I see a bunch of Wynford kids with the the letter jackets on from the class of 22, and I say, hey man, what do you guys remember about Jaron Filliater? What would they say? What would you want them to say?
Obviously a great leader, a hard worker. I would say those are the 2 biggest ones. Just someone who always led by example, and always did things the right way, and maybe not have done them the best way, but always did them the right way. And just someone who always worked hard, never had excuses for anything, just always did the best he could to make his teammates and himself better. I would say those are the two big ones: hardworking and leadership.
Good deal. So what do you do in your spare time when you're not playing sports? What are you doing?
Sports do take a lot of my time. Obviously, I hang out with friends outside of sports, and now that school's starting, I really won't have much spare time at all. But I'm okay with that. I like football. I like going to football practice. But I hang out with family, friends, watch other sports when I'm not playing them. Just typical things that a teenager does, I guess. But yeah, sports do take up a lot of my time, especially when school's around.
Do you have any pet peeves?
Yeah, for sure. One is like just standing around in the weight room. That really bugs me. I know I'm probably guilty of it every now and then, but people who do it all the time, it really, it rattles my bones. I hate it. And I try to say something. I'll say something, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, and then but I'll see them 5 minutes later doing the same thing. And it's just a few people. It's not like the whole team does it, but it's just a few people here, another person there, and I'd say another one is not listening during a huddle, or during like not listening when a coach is talking. And same, I'm probably guilty of it every now and then, but people who are constant with it and who never, that really bothers me. And same in film, like watching the film, that really bothers me too.
Yeah, definitely, man. You guys are high school kids. You have a million things on your mind.
Yeah.
And then, you look at a Friday night, it's like you've had a full week, once we get going, a full week of school, you got friends, you got family stuff, and you got any free time, and you got football. And it's like, man, you got to focus. You got to pay attention, because this stuff's going to be gone pretty quick. So what are your plans for after high school?
I'm not really too sure, to be honest. I think I'll probably end up going to college. I'm not real sure. I've always been interested in like going to school to get an engineering degree. I've always been interested in like electricity. I've thought about the military a little bit. So it's a bunch of things. I'm not too sure, but I still have a little bit to figure out, or I still have a little bit of time to figure it out. So hopefully I figure it out before I graduate. But yeah, I'm not too sure right
now. Do you have any hidden talents?
I'm a lefty, if that's a talent. I would say that's just more like a rare thing. But yeah, I'm a lefty. I can juggle 4 balls. I can't think of really anything else. But yeah.
So are you gonna play? Are you gonna play baseball this spring? If you're a lefty, are you gonna play baseball?
I've thought about it, and I've also thought about running track. I think I'll probably end up doing one or the other, because I'm a high schooler, and sports take up a lot of my life. And once basketball is over this winter, I'm not gonna know what to do with myself after school. And I always played baseball when I was younger. I stopped playing after my 8th grade year, so that's in the back of my head. But that's for after basketball season. But yeah, I think I might end up either running track or playing baseball. So
are you going to be one of those dudes at the YMCA in a few years that start up a league, and you got all your buddies from high school playing?
Yeah, I could also see myself going back to open gym and football practice every now and then. Maybe not every single time, but every now and then. Obviously wouldn't hurt at all. And I feel like it gets repetitive sometimes, like practice and stuff. But I feel like I'm gonna miss it a lot once it's gone. So I feel like I'll be one of those guys that come back a lot.
Absolutely. All right, Jaron. Thanks a lot for being on the podcast, and best of luck to you for the rest of the season, man.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for listening to another episode of the Bases Loaded podcast. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter @Bases Podcast.